All right, hi everyone. I'm back from my holiday in Seychelles. I got absolutely burnt in the end. Skin peeling off. You can't really see it here. I'm absolutely red. Anyway, it's good to be back nonetheless. I get to see some big screens. I'm not used to phones. I don't trade on phones. I mean, when you got your good till cancels in, there's no difference. And sometimes it's better to under trade than over trade. And if you've got big screens, you may be tempted to over trade. So it's sometimes better to not be around the screens, let's say. But anyway, very happy to be back. Obviously, there was a slaughter in the markets. Gold and silver kind of followed the general markets, I would say. Not gold and silver in particular that got slaughtered, but they always get slaughtered with the markets. What happened? We had DXY go up, new highs. Look at this 108. We're still trading above 108. If you see this little candle over here, that was like the last of the resistance before the 110s, right? Like double figures, if I can call it that. And we touched it before here initially, like late November. We came all the way back down. And what happened in the last sort of couple of days of trading whilst I was on holiday? Broke back out. So we retested 108, but we closed above the last high. And now we're sort of going sideways, basically consolidating sideways until we go higher, right? We should go and now test 110. And by 110, I mean 109.5 and then 110, and maybe even go through 110. So DXY should keep going up. Today, so far, it's a bit green, but basically we're going sideways and then we'll probably go higher. What does that mean for euro dollar? It probably means flushing the recent low, this 104 zone, just below 104, and then down towards parity, which everyone's been talking about. What does it mean for US dollar, Japanese yen? It probably means going to test 160. And that's last time we got there, I said it, right? This is system breaking stuff. The euro dollar parity is just some nice headline they can throw out there. But the US dollar Japanese yen at 160, that's not nice. I mean, that's system breaking. That's like Japanese banks or there's so many institutions or entities that can get slaughtered, even from for where it is now. Actually, that's damage is sufficient all the way up here. But I think we go up to 160 along with euro dollar parity, which means DXY going to 110. So this will cause chaos if it persists, even holding where it is. Yields, well, that will follow. So we've got yields also going higher. It's funny how the bottom is marked almost by the Trump election. I mean, look, the biggest news was the fact that they want to now consider two rate hikes rather than four next year, 2025. That sends yields higher. So that's the latest narrative. And let's just look at the US, right? US 38, what have we got? Keep it simple. We've got this resistance around here, 4.8. I think we go up towards 5. Ah, look, now my lines appear. That was weird, but same area. 510, right? So 4.8, 510 for the 30-year. That's huge. Right now we're touching 4.8. And like I said, DXY should go up. So 30 years should creep higher too. 10-year, same thing. I wonder when my lines will appear, but it's the same sort of thing. You can see we're tagging sort of the old highs, 4.7-ish. And then we're going to go higher towards the old high of 5. Can you imagine we touch 5 on the 10-year again? That's system breaking. That's really system breaking. Look how much we've rallied already, and it's not like we rallied all the way here. We went down, retraced, retest, and then back up now new highs. So yeah, we should start testing the 4.7s and ultimately 5. The 2-year weaker. That I don't know whether we'll get to test the 5.23 zone. Maybe we'll test the descending by the time everything else is all the way back up there. But this one's a bit weaker, so it's really the longer term yields going up. European yields, they're weaker. These guys love to cut rates. Even with inflation persisting, you've got all these central banks just talking about, yeah, we're going to cut more, more, more. Look at the Bank of England, by the way. Holy Jesus. That's the next one to check. Look at the yields here. 10-year. Basically, we are testing the old highs already. That's huge. This is where the um, pension blow up took place, basically. Liz Truss's government went out because of this big move, right? And now we're back up there. No one's talking about it. 30 years, same thing. We are there now. And the debt is bigger, deficit is bigger, inflation's worse, so it's worse now than it was back then. And we're going to make new highs. So the British yields will probably make new highs, followed by the Americans and the Europeans. Honestly, I think we'll get up there, but we'll never break out because these guys just keep having the central bank buy there. They'll be the first to just go full blown QE. And we're not even talking about QE yet, right? We've still got QT officially. So it's crazy. Yields are going up despite these rate cuts. That's telling you a lot. So long term, the gold narrative is still bulletproof, in my opinion. And I think gold will do okay despite yields going higher. You know, we kind of have a thesis where gold can go up whether yields go up or down. So this is also why you should be in the metals and the miners. Right, let's check the metals and the miners. Starting with the metals, gold. First things first, right? Despite this collapse, and oh my God, that's the miners, right? The equities. Gold is still above 2,600. Just what was the absolute all-time high? Not even 2,800. We're basically at all-time highs. This is the dollar, right? Which is the strongest. If I change this to any other currency, it looks even better. So gold is just hanging in there at the absolute highs perfectly. Don't know why it takes so long for my lines to appear. Here you can see, this one I feel like I just adjust it. I'll cheat a little bit because it's so close. But yeah, I think all the other horizontals work. This one is now null and void. So the ascending still held on. I don't need to have the yellows anymore. I think they speak for themselves. Next test for gold, if we start to lose this ascending, let's just say the last low of 25.80. If we start to close below 25.80, we'll go to the next low, 25.35, 25, let's say 40, right? That's your next support. And after that, I've got here, I've got this little 24.75. So I think that'll do for now, right? That's your support on the way down. If we start to lose that, it might be this one here actually. Depends. Yeah, you might get some 2,400 ascending coming in, but I think we're far from that. On the way up, honestly, keep it simple. I think it's just the old high, 27.20. That's what you want to take. That's kind of the only resistance. It's kind of the only resistance. Yeah, I mean, not even 2,700. I would say 27.20. Just give it a big range at this point. And then after that, you start taking out 27.20, you're going for the old high. There you go. That's all you've got. Two levels on the way up, 27.20 and then 2,800, pretty much the old high. On the way down, you got the ascending slash 25.80, and then you got 25.35 pretty much. And then you got 24.75. You can see that, right? Resistance there, support there. And if we lose that, it's going to be the ascending. So that's nicely cleaned up, I think. Silver. Silver, which has been weaker. You can see how support, I've lost my lines, but you can tell support is going to be around $30. That's now resistance. We already tagged it now this morning. Just looking for anything else. Support. Maybe you've got this. Does that count? Maybe. I think that's a new one. I'll throw that in. So silver, yeah, let's keep it simple. I don't know if my lines will appear, but $30 is a level, it's support, it's resistance. Many times it's psychological. We tagged it already today. We've got to really close above 30, then you can start retesting the next level. There are many levels, but I'm not really gonna get excited. I'll do a bit like gold, give it some room. 32.30. Take out 32.30, then you can think about the old high, basically 30, $35. Now, if we start to flush more, what's the next support? It's down here, which is just below $28. So yeah, 27.70, let's call it. And then after that, I don't want to start polluting this chart with too many lines. I don't know if my old lines would appear actually, but I don't mind just keeping this fresh chart like this. I think I'm looking at the wrong silver chart, which is why it's staying empty, but that's actually quite nice. So there you go. We're holding off this ascending support. Resistance is 30. Next resistance is 32.25, 32.3. That's quite a way. There probably is other resistance on the way. 30.5, 31.5. But I'll just keep it simple. There you go. That's silver. Let's look at the miners, starting with GDX. Yeah. So obviously this got smashed a bit more than the metals, at least more than gold. Start with some descending. This is your next support. You pretty much tested it already. A few cents off that means it's the same thing. Next support after that is going to be here. That's 33. So where's your current support? It's 34, then it's 33. Pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty much the same stuff. Here come the old lines. It's the same stuff. And then you've got this. Yes, I was about to do this one. 32. That's $1 lower. You can see there's resistance, support, and it's a $1 unit level. We're not going to go below that, at least not for now. So I'll leave that as it is. This ascending is nullified. This is just average support now, or even resistance. So yeah, and that's going to be your resistance. That's your silver at 33 kind of similarity. Is this a level? Is that a level? A little bit mini level. Maybe I'll leave that one in. But yes, the descending here is going to be your real level of resistance. Look how encouraged I was when we were here. Bam, completely dropped. These will be less relevant on the way up, so I'll just delete these. Let's prefer to keep it a bit clean. So for now, you know what? Let's just see if we can take out the descending, right? We're not going to do that today. We're not going to do that even this week. That would be asking a lot. You'd need a really super bullish week to get above the descending. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Even this one's nullified. And this now, I'd move it like that. Okay, let's leave it like that. That's your resistance on the way down, on the way up, and support on the way down. We really want to close above 35, preferably 36. And on the way down, it's $1 units. All right, that's GDX. Look at SIL. The ascending has gone. Yeah, that was three, 4 trading days ago. This support also went straight through that. I thought that would have done better, actually. It was just one horrible day, but that'll be resistance on the way up. So that's still relevant on the way up. Will this be resistance? Possibly, yes. So we can keep this one. SIL was the strongest one a couple of days ago. Next, you've probably got this gap fill, to be honest, because going lower than that is asking a lot in one go. So 31.5, nice round number. Otherwise, you've got 30, huge number plus clear technical support. So that's definitely going to hold this week, even if this week gets really bad. But currently we're here. Is that a level? Well, yes, it is, because it's 3 days where we've kind of touched the same level, 33.25-ish. Oh yeah, let's just leave a small line. So there you go. We still got so on the way up, we're looking to take out 34.3, a close above that, and that will probably indicate a larger move up. 37 for me is the next clear resistance. That's far away. I don't see that happening even this week. Then you got the little gap fill there. Doesn't really matter. Go on. And then after that, it's going to be the old high all the way up here, then there, gap fill, then the old high. We're not going to do that, that's for sure. So that's on the way up and on the way down. Well, the old low that we put in last week of 33.2-ish, if we flush that, we're doing gap fill zone 31.5, maybe 32. That's pre-gap fill. There's always two levels to the gap fill. There's the pre and post, so I'll put both of them in. And then if we lose that, then the massive support at 30, which I do not see us testing this week at all, even next week. So that's gold and silver and GDX and SIL. Let's do GDXJ. Similar stuff. Similar stuff. So there's your old level. Didn't really hold on that day, but it did as resistance. If we take that out, yeah, I see this as a small level to take out next. This, no. Big move up to here. And then we'll see about the rest. Let's keep it clean for the next move. On the way down, we've got the current low, which is 44-ish, right? The low we put in last week. And then after that, it's hard to make us. Okay, after that, you've got 42.5-ish. And then, yeah, then these two. Yeah, okay, that's pretty correct, I think. Let's extend it to where it might actually make sense. There you go. Those are your levels. I won't bother drawing in the yellow marker. That's pretty clear. SILJ, you can see is a little weaker. Oof, need to clean this one up. Um, this one doesn't count anymore. This one kind of does. That was pretty significant support there. This one, that could cover that. There you go. Right, that's clear support then, clear resistance if we get back up to 11.5. That's your next resistance actually. After that, well, it's just going to be this level. It's the same thing anyway. It's 12.75. That'll take a lot to retest there. This yellow thing will take care of that. That's the pre-gap fill. This is your post-gap fill. And then here, these levels can stay for now. They're highly unrealistic. The low for last week was 10.8-ish, which coincides with this. So that's still support, even though we're kind of almost testing it already. Look at that weakness there. We sort of closed far from the high of days there when we tried to rally from the 10.8 bounce. Next level, and this is very possible. If we go down one level, we hit it. It's 10.2, just above 10. That is realistic if we have another move lower. Believe it or not, SILJ, the weakest out of all the mining ETFs, and that makes sense, right? Mid-tier silver juniors. Right, let's look at the actual portfolio. Starting off with Newmont. Hmm. So was very, very weak, but did have a nice little rally there on Friday. That's true. That was a strong. Oh, by the way, I bought on Friday across the board, just bought because I was on holiday, everything went down. And then I thought, nah, screw it, I'm buying across the board. I looked at GDX, looked at GDXJ, and then looked at my charts that you're looking at now and just thought, yeah, I'll buy pretty much across the board. They were nibbles, but in the end they made a decent input because I bought like 20 stocks, you know. So you're nibbling on 20 in the end, it's quite a big move. It was like 10% of my sidelines. That's if that makes sense. 10% of the ammunition I had on the sidelines entered across the board. So Newmont, support right here, 37. Resistance, I think I'll take it out easily because look how strong Friday's move was. 38.8-ish is resistance, but I think we can go all the way up here. In fact, you know what? I believe it so much I'm going to delete this level. I think we can go all the way back up to 40. 40 is a big number. It was clear support. It will be clear resistance, and we're so strong that I think it doesn't take much to rally all the way up there. And we start hitting this descending resistance, so very clear resistance. And since we're strong, I think we hit it. So I'm going to be nibbling out of what I nibbled here. So what I bought there, I'll be nibbling out there. And then I sort of did a free ride, you know, free little profit swing. And then we're back to where I was when we were here with the same amount of share count. So that's cool. If we start taking out the descending, honestly, I see just before we get to this next horizontal here at 44, I do see something here. It was like the last high we put in before failing at the descending. So I'm going to leave that one there. And then, of course, this one goes here. And then here it becomes less obvious. But to be honest, if we start going all the way back up to 44, I think if we extend the move, it'll be all the way back up to the next horizontal. I don't think we'll be making a little mini pit stop here. So actually, I'm going to leave this like this. We'll forget these for now because they're so far away. So there you go. That's Newmont. If we go lower, which first of all, I think this 37 will hold if we do go lower. But if we do go an entire two levels lower, the next level got 35.5-ish. Can you imagine being there? That's ridiculous. Barrick Gold. All right, I need to make this quicker. Wow. Look at this drop. My God. I know that all-in sustaining costs have not have not really impressed the market, but this is really a bit too much, I think. Um, this didn't even hold the support. No point in extending it. It might not even be resistance. 16, big number, maybe. Maybe it's too far to get from where we are here all the way up there. This would be your obvious first an obvious resistance, 16.5. The next one will be where it's failed every time. That's before flushing. That's 17.75-ish. But will 16 be resistance? Yes, but how strong? I'll leave it in anyway. And obviously you've got your support here where it is low last week, 15. If we lose that, then we go down to 13.9-ish, which is very difficult to imagine, but that is your next level. And then we're talking about the absolute lows we've ever put in since COVID. Pretty much the same thing as COVID lows, right? What's the difference between 12.5 and 13.8? Very little. That's crazy. This is the sort of long-term hold, walk away, and don't trade it. Um, and to be honest, where we are now is almost the same thing as this 13.8. So I bought Barrick. Like I said, I bought across the board. I forgot exactly how much and at what price, but it's near the lows. I remember it was across. Well, I bought so many, some pre-market, some as the market opened, that some of them when it was up like 2%. But I think Barrick Gold was one of the early ones I bought during the day, maybe even pre-market. Doesn't matter where I bought, right? I bought around 15.5-ish, give or take 20 cents. So yeah, if we lose 15.5, 13.8 is your next stop. There is probably something at 14.5. You can see that, but I'm going to leave it here. I want to give it a big range just in case. And on the way up, yeah, I agree with this 16, 16.5-ish, and then 17.8. And then we'll see after that. Agnico-Eagle, which was basically testing its old highs. We'll leave that in. This is irrelevant. If we retest, it will be all the way to its old highs anyway. This is also irrelevant. I'm just going to readjust it. So last week's low, 77, is this week's support. And then if we start to flush, let's cover the move down. It'll be, I have to give it some space, 75.25 be the last low we made. That's not too far away. And if we flush that, I got something here, 72, big round number, resistance here, and then support around there. Otherwise, we have something at 70, big round number also. I think that cut takes care of the support. This is probably the best senior in the world. So I don't expect it to flush too many levels on the way down. Resistance, obviously there is resistance between where we are here and this obvious one at 87, but it's probably going to be here, the resistance, 82, kind of middle of between the two levels, the support and resistance, and it's a little obvious. So I'll leave that one in. There you go. That takes care of Agnico. Not going to over discuss it. Wheaton, weak compared to the others. Look at that close. Horrible. Hmm. We'll start with support. Support is last week's low. There you go. And a level below that. Remember, this is Wheaton, a bit like Agnico. Very, very good. Not going to flush too many levels. Not going to move too much. So I'm just going to have one big obvious level low, which is this 53.4. That's your next obvious support for Wheaton. If it loses that, then it's definitely going to go visit this and it's going to hold 52. That's all I'm going to discuss for Wheaton levels. Resistance, well, it's going to be your prior support, which is here, 61-ish, just before 61. I don't know if 60 can be a level. You'd think so because of the number, but technically this was support more before than this. I'm going to leave it here. Maybe it's 60 in the end, but I wouldn't be looking to sell or quickly flip this one. Obviously, I bought Wheaton also because I bought all of them, but I'm just going to leave the higher one, give it benefit of the doubt. But again, not looking to flip it. And the rest remains correct. Obviously, there you go. Those are your levels. Wheaton. Ah, I forgot Pan American Silver. PAAS, which I think is the one I bought the most. Lost its ascending support. Will ascending be resistance on the way up? I don't care about that. I'll let the horizontals do it. Lost ascending support, but it was forced to because of the general sector. So where's your level of support? It was last week's low. Let's readjust. Where's your resistance? Huh. Not too obvious, so I won't mark it. I'll just do the obvious one up here. There's obviously one in between. I would be guessing, to be honest, so I won't do that. I'll just let the market identify it later. If we have a small rally, I'm sure we'll encounter that resistance. So if we take out this old resistance of 24 point, 3-ish, then we'll start visiting basically the old highs. We're far from doing that. If we start making new lows, which is more realistic, especially with the TXY looking like it wants to do 110 in the in the short to medium term, then we'll do this gap fill stuff. So here your two, your pre, your post gap fill, and then you got your level even below that, and then you got another one below that. I love these little machine gun levels. Just do small entries if you're not sure, and then another one after that. I'm not going to bother with this one. 17. Remember 17? How much we fought and stayed patient to take out 17? Well, that'll definitely be a level if we start to flush a lot, but we're far from that. So these levels take care of support, resistance. Like I said, there's something in between, but I'm not gonna guess it just yet. Right, next, I did Wheaton already, so that's Franco Nevada. This one also I nibbled. Yes, 115. I remember that level. Pretty clear, right? Hits it one, two, three, four, and now five times. Also, last week's low of week. So 115 is your support roughly. If we lose that, then there is just below a little low. Can I say 113? If we lose that, then it becomes a bit difficult. I don't know if this will really count, so I won't. I'll leave the absolute low below the 105-ish and this lower here to come with it. There's something in between. It's probably around 110 actually, but I'm just not going to put it in. I prefer to wait and see there. Maybe there's something else going on with the underlying metal or the dollar or rates or whatever. But here for now, this is actually quite close now. If we have even a small drop, we start going to 113. Then we start going to this gap zone. It's not a gap, but this zone, this no man's land where there is a level, but I haven't just put it in yet. I think it's 110. On the way up, it's going to be your old support. It's more likely to be this 120, maybe 120. I'm not too sure. It's not obvious that one. 120, and then on the way up after that, it's going to be the old high. So, this zone 125, 126, this, no. And then the other one, 135, the old highs. There you go. That's Franco. Metalla, absolutely detestable stock. Mm. So this one made new lows. 2.5. Look how close we are to the absolute bottom. What a drop. So 2.5. After that, you got the old low 2.3, right? That takes care of that. We're not looking below because there is no below. And honestly, I'll look at that if it happens, but I don't see us closing below 2.3. So 2.55, 2.3, that's your levels on the way down. On the way up, I feel like this 2.8 should be something. 3 should be something, but it's not obvious. We'll do the next obvious one, 3.2. Then you got this gap fill, and then etc. etc. I think this is correct. I'm not going to spend longer than that on it. It's horrible, but at least I get to cover it quickly. First Majestic, that's very weak. Look at that low. First of all, that's your low of last week. And if we flush it, which could happen quickly, we've got this little zone here, which is quite obvious to me. I never thought we'd revisit that. And to be honest, we're revisiting it quite quickly. We remember gold's above 2,600. It's quite surprising to have some stocks be so low. And we're used to this too, huh? But for it to be this low with such a little drop in gold, I know it's a silver stock still. So I have to mark all these other ones. This is like, remember they said they do buybacks even before this level? Crazy. Yeah. So where we are now, that's the low, 5.45-ish. Then you got this 5.2 gap fill zone. Then you've got the 4.6 crazy, and then 4.4, and then absolute 4.2. So there's 20-cent increments there. Let's see if we could at least hold this 5.2 low if we do flush. On the way up, resistance. At least this should be more obvious. No, not this. This. It's gonna be the $6 test. sell before six. Whatever you've bought down here, if we start to take out six, then 6.8 is your next real clear obvious level. It will take a lot to get up there. Or maybe just a decent rally in silver and the tide turns, then that might be enough. And then yes, the old resistance I'll leave for now. Just trust it to be the case. Although to be honest, this yeah, maybe. All right, that's first Majestic. Then we got Fortuna. Another weak close there for the week. Well, that's your support, 4.3. After is the next level here, 4.15. Right? And the next one is here, 3.85. You can see what I'm doing here. It's just the next horizontal level. $4 is no level, interestingly enough. I'm not going to look below that. I don't see it happening, but otherwise I've got the levels anyway. On the way up, um, no, I'm just going to count the descending and I'll extend it like this. It probably should be $5, but let's just let it go. It'll be the descending. So imagine how long if we have a strong move, something like this. Okay, but otherwise, yes, 5 point. Actually, no, let's do the real high there. 5.3-ish. Then the 5.5 level, etc., etc. The gap fill. Fortuna was looking really good at one point, but then the sector just turns down and it has to follow. This is not the weakest looking stock though. It still has held some of its strength. You know, look at First Majestic. It's like it'd be the same as Fortuna being in the low threes by now. Next one, Coeur d'Alene. Still looking pretty good, huh? The sector forced it down. Look where it was. It was about to make new highs. My God, I was on holiday during this period, wasn't I? I'm pretty sure. I was like, yeah, imminent new highs in CDE. Very happy to have quite a lot in there because it's still my strongest, heaviest weighted silver stock. And then bam, down it goes. But again, not too much. No ascending. I could have ascending. I think I can see an ascending. It doesn't matter. The horizontal is sufficient. So this one here could be a level already. You know what? I'm going to keep this one. I mean, if it wasn't for this candle, it'd be the perfect horizontal. And to be honest, this candle is like an outlier, which means it's still relevant. It still has a place here. And it's tested it already Thursday, Friday, and it's acted as resistance. And it's $6. So I'll leave this one in. That's your first resistance. If we keep going, I'm going to leave it clean. I'll even remove this one. I'll let the, although this is descending has been obsolete too, since we took it out just a few days ago, which means I need to put something in there. Maybe 6.8. Like 6.8 is something. I'll leave it in just a short line because I'm not too sure of it. But once you take out $6, I think you have something at 6.8, I think. And then that's it. All the other levels are pretty much cleared. Then it's just the old high of 7.4 and then the absolute high of 7.8. And then you're just running at 8 and higher. Now, if we lose last week's level of support around 5.7, we will visit 5.5 and then 5.2 and maybe 4.6. I'll leave these in. There you go. That's what I got for CDE. Absolutely love CDE. Silver Crest, similar. I'm not going to bother with the lines here. It's very similar. It's just following. These two will be one at some point. Hecla. Yeah, Jesus, the ascending's lost. This is your new level of support. Below that is this at 4.4. So you've got 4.9, 4.4, 50-cent range between those two levels. If we lose 4.4, you've got $4. Big round number. Hard to imagine it getting there. On the way up, you got to take out this 5.2. And after that, 5.4, 5.8, $6. After that, let's move this lower. I should have at least one line between this 5.2 and 620, but I don't know where it is. So I won't put anything. I'm just going to leave it blank for now. Yes, this is middle of the pre and post gap fill. These are obvious, but also relevant. We're not getting there yet. So yeah, I think this one needs an extra line somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it that obvious. So I'll leave it. Next one, EXK. Ascending, gone. Descending, well, no, descending is just incorrect. It would really be something like this. It would be the old low, 3.6. That would be your support. Next support, 3.4. Um, Let me see. Resistance. You've got the descending. That would be your resistance if you go up. But otherwise, I see something here. Yeah, $4. That's pretty clear. So here we go. And that's something we could test pretty quickly. $4. You close above $4, you're testing already the descending, and then you can look at the next one, which would be up here, 4.6. And then you got this, which is also pre-gap. There's your post-gap, next level. The rest are correct. So I'll move those in line two. Just, I don't know, maybe I'm a perfectionist, but I just want to do everything perfectly. There you go. Those are your levels. Interesting, this one. Maybe even should have another line, another support level on the way lower, 3.2, just in case. EXK. This is a big mover on the way down and on the way up. Okay, we'll leave it like this. Next one, Mag Silver. See, that flushed, but it's still on ascending support. There aren't that many that are on ascending support, but this one is. Look at that. That's quite pretty, actually. So your level of support is actually the ascending. This will be rearranged, be horizontal at 13.6. Now, resistance will be your prior support, which will be here, 14.5. If we keep going up, there's probably something here, gap fill 15.2, but I'm not going to bother. Another one that I'm going to leave lacking a level just so that I don't fill up or pollute the chart when it's not too obvious. And these ones are more obvious, so these ones I'll leave. They were correct 1 or 2 weeks ago, and they remain correct now because they haven't been tampered with. Now, on the way down, should we lose this 13.6? You've got pre and post gaps going on here. I'll just do one to mark them all, and that'll do. The next level, well, it's going to be here actually, but go on. I'll add another one to take care of these two. There you go. That's your Mag Silver. Next one, Aris Mining. This one is getting a bit interesting. Lost its ascending. It was one of the first ones to hit the ascending. I'm going to delete that. So price support 3.7 should be resistance. This was irrelevant. This was your next level. We didn't get there though. So first of all, the low of last week will be support. And then the next level will be here, 320. Wow, I can't believe we're looking at these levels. But to be honest, I've said that for quite a few of the stocks. So on the way down, let's mark them all. We've got last week's low at 3.3. We've got another level immediately below 3.2. And then you've got this 2.8 ridiculous level. On the way up, you got resistance at 3.65-ish. And then after that, my God, it's hard to call. After that, remember this is a strange spread. I'm gonna call it 4.14-ish. Yeah, it's kind of support here, bit of resistance here. So 4.4, give or take like 10 cents to be honest. Then after that, I'll delete this. It'll be the descending at that point. Descending will probably be stronger than any horizontal. So there you go. Those are your three levels to look at on the way up. 3.65-ish, 4.15-ish, and 4.6-ish. And then the old highs, of course. Next, I'm gold. Still holding up quite well. So last week's low, 505. That's your support on the way up. Yeah, this one probably more likely to encounter resistance than the one above. So those two levels, 5.8, 5.9, and actually nothing there between where it is now and just these levels. So there is no hidden level that I'm leaving out. Those are your next resistance levels, 5.75 and 5.9, 610, small little levels on the way up. And the old high up here, 6.3 on the way down. Now this one, very little to no changes, to be honest. We've got the low of last week, 5.10-ish. Then you got 4.9, 4.65, and 4.5-ish. No point in putting anything after that. B2 gold, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. B2 gold is hitting its long-term ascending support. We're pretty much there. So where it is, last week's low is not even any point in putting. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not even going to put an ascending, a horizontal. We are at long-term support level 2.4 to 2.5. This whole thing here is your support. And I'm not talking about any support below that. I'm just not going to. It would be the low of this candle, 2.3, but I'm not going to bother. I think it will hold. Resistance will be what should have been support that never fails, 2.6. And then you got your next resistance up here, 2.9. And then 3.25, etc., etc. The same stuff we had on the way up, which has just not been tested yet. That's how weak this has been. Next one, Equinox. Wow, clear support. Horizontal and ascending. 5 and psychological. Clear support. Very strong. I think I've just found out how to emphasize strength in the chart is to do an X with a circle. So $5 is very strong support. After that is 4.5, simple, 50 cents below. We're not going to talk about anything below that. It's not going to happen. Resistance, well, it's not that. Maybe something like this. 5.5. I see something there. Then it's less obvious. I feel like saying 5.8, but I won't bother. This is more obvious though. 610, just above 6, and then the old high is 650, which we touched literally a few days ago. A bit like CDE making new highs, like imminent new highs, and then sector forces us back down. So this is a strong one to buy on a drop, and it's strong support. It's just touched. So this is a good one, I reckon. SSRM, another one that, well, one that made new highs, clearly squeezing, forced back down again. Well, again, last week's support will be your support. Below that is your breakout zone of 6.55-ish. And it's ascending support. That should be really strong. But actually, no, that ascending is gone. But still, it should be strong. And then I would leave this. I'd give it some room to collapse another level, just in case. Yeah, it's less obvious. Something like this in between the two. In between the two levels I had, then here, I don't see it just giving back the whole move. But I think it could go back down to 6.6-ish. Who knows, maybe even below it's 6, but then a strong bounce. This descending is obsolete. We're not really well, I guess we did retest it, but the job is done. It's squeezed from there. This level, which I sold into, of course, remains resistance. It's the last high. That's it, really. So on the way, where it is now is support, right? 6.9. If we lose another level, 6.5, 6.55, let's say. After that, 6. After that, 5.6. It shouldn't go all the way down here. On the way back up, well, I would say 8 is a level, actually. Also, got to respect the big number just before the old high. Then the old high of 8.3. And then, bam, we're making gap fill. What's this one? What's this line? I forgot. Oh, yeah, that's the COVID low. Maybe that counts. And it's a big round number, $9, and then 9. Well, then you've done your gap fill. Yeah, everything else is correct. I've had it for months. So if we do start to take out 8.3, and SSRM is the type of stock to do it. Doesn't care what everyone else is doing, which is why it had this squeeze that no one else had. And then who knows, we could even start testing double figures 10. Beautiful. Finally, SBSW. Wow. Collapsed all the way down here. We've got one level lower. So last week's low also was a level before 3.5. After that, we got 310, the old low. On the way up, we've got resistance, old support, 3.8. And then 4. That should be 4. Let me move it up. That should be 4. And then the old high up here, 4.3, let's say. And if you take out 4.3, who cares about 4.5? We'll probably start squeezing towards 520. There you go. Right, that was long. Sorry about that. I covered everything in pretty detailed fashion. It's good to be back. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the absence. No more huge holidays anticipated. Let's see what happens. Everything got crushed. A lot of people got crushed in lots of assets. You know, you had even crypto, MicroStrategy, the Nasdaq stocks. So everyone got decked. We were not immune, as usual. We know this. When everything goes down, there's three things that go up. It's the dollar, its volatility, and its yields. Um, Gold does okay, silver doesn't, copper doesn't, the miners don't. But sometimes we outperform, and sometimes there are 1 or 2 days where we go up and everyone else does not. So, but it's a good opportunity to buy the good stocks, and hopefully I'm covering the good stocks. I'm not in any juniors. Those days are well and truly over. So I don't even want to see those. They've all made new lows as usual. So I'm happy to be able to buy some good ones. I really entered across the board there on Friday. Most near low of day, others not. But who cares? The whole day was low of week, low of month, low of region. So I'm happy with my buys. I've still got some ammunition left in case we go lower, which we shouldn't, but you never know. So let's see what happens. Keep an eye on gold, silver, the dollar, yields, the general markets, and of course the GDX charts. All right, that'll do for now. Enjoy. Let's see what happens.